Get your motors run and head up on the highway looking for adventure. Setting position line connection, you're setting to your mind line. Your stream interference and position probe location system, travel calculation line streams. Your direct location system into your consciousness is high forcing. What I mean by that is the connections of its consciousness is changing the triangulation line centers, how you see yourself from inside. Let me say that again. How you see yourself from inside is how you see yourself from outside. That's yin and yang, guys. So you're coming out of the unconscious line setting in position of consciousness to the subterranean screens. We're coming to higher line center in position of consciousness. The direct line communication of panels to your operational location of your mind, the conscious stream interference is coming into the cortex lines of mystical settings. Okay, mystical lines of dimensions of portals and track locations. Everything around you is now awake. But it's not just awake, it's aware of its own mind, of its own heart, of its own body, and its own soul. Okay? Now, in that set line connection system, you have to be extremely aware of what's happening to you inside. I say, General, are you telling me that the intelligence around me is now in your universe location? Yep. Now's the time to get not just in the activation, but become aware of everything that you're connected to, which is your senses. Everything that you touch in modification, okay, is getting your track line connection system. It's giving you data of operation. The mind of conscious line stream interference, when you see it through pixelation screen line connection, it's nothing but an arbitrary location setting to travel. It's a travel position mechanism. Very powerful. It knows its time, it knows its space, it knows its modulation, it knows itself of its sim of calculation. So getting balance with this is getting balance with crystals. Very powerful crystals. What does crystal do for me in set locations? Gives me motivation, gives me power, gives me control, gives me to travel through its setting of its own set location, of its intelligence, of its formation, of its alliance. See the portal? Right there. Okay. There's always a portal, which is an entrance screen. A set position of adaptation lines of consciousness, looking at through line communications of settings. See? All right. Oh my gosh, what is that? What is that? That looks like a T, that looks like an I, and that looks like a Y. Right? Teleportation, intelligence of you. Teleportation, intelligence of you. The actual crystal is a modification of structure of division lines and location of letters. Okay? Boom. Setting track to its communication surface is all of the point lines of communications, understanding how this can go through letters, numbers, and shapes without you even knowing a track location. So understanding that is the inner line cycles. Now it has a provision cycle. That tracks its communication what comes into all levels of you, how you use yourself in all levels of forms into interception. The inception of you to understand what's going on with your phone, what's going on with crystals, what's going on with my computer, what's going on with my TV in set locations of travel. Okay? But it's amazing what it just showed you through a crystal, a teleportation of intelligence of you. It wrote it out on its own crystal frame. It showed you an actual letter. And there it is again. See? Intelligence. T-I-Y. You see it? To see it is to believe it. How it has its own alphabetical system of travel. T-I-Y. Teleportation, intelligence, and you. So getting in that position location is understanding the both sides of you, the insides of you, the outsides of you, the yin and yang of you, the balance of you, right? This is the process that we're all coming into when you reach higher levels of consciousness. This is you coming back into your memories, yes. But the process of the communication setting is now open through panel. Now we have a position lines, what has a position locations coming in defaults. All lines back in its original design in this universal location that puts everybody into modifications of their sim and set locations. Okay, so it's very interesting when you can see through a crystal and when it gets back to you through a letter, number, shape, or symbol. I just showed you through that, through T-I-Y. Okay. So we all understand how this all works. I say, well, how do I understand this? How do I understand that? Understand yourself from inside. Now, we got a modification, the unification lines, and the timeline sequencing and its awakening. We passed that process. This is about you understanding you at a higher level of design, 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 a higher level of design. Okay? Reaching that line connection high center position to its operation service. Every time I move up, you see what's happening? The atmosphere is changing. See? My force field's changing, right? See that? See? That's how it's glowing. Where's the glow coming from? Not from outside. It's coming from inside. That's reflecting outside. So inside position to all calculation, that's right, Chips. All new levels. What you can see through crystal line connections. In position locations. See? See the letter? See? It's amazing, isn't it? See, look. All right? Everything is travel, guys. Everything creates. So say, oh, we got a block. We got 3 blocks and we got a Y. Okay, look at that. It's showing you a block, 2 blocks, and a Y. So try to understand how this all works in communication, how I look at the crystalline setting. Yes, that's right, Captain. Everything is traveling very fast. And I'm just showing you how this crystal gave me information through its own data. And that's what you're coming into. When you pick this up, it's trying to understand you now because it's alive in your system. The conscious line calculation setting is put in higher communication in your settings to rainbow activation stream locations. This is the male polarity. That's conscious location. Male polarity, this is the female. Okay? This is your Merkaba. Okay? You can't see it though, but you know it's there, right? It's gone, right? But where is it going? It's traveling, right? See? Can't see it, right? But you know it's there. That's where we're coming into. Okay? See how it travels? You, here. You're here. You're coming into this. You're here. You're coming into that. Okay? Seeing is believing, guys. Believing is seeing. Coming in the conscious line calculation, stream interference, and all travel to the communication system, knowing that you see beyond its recognition of space and time. Okay? In set locations, right? That's you in space. That's you in the mind. That's you in balance. That's you in yin and yang. Okay? So if we understand that, then we understand the process of what the crystal is here for as allocations. Wait a minute, now I can see it. But is it still traveling? Yes, it's still traveling, but it's traveling on its own setting. You have to control your system first and inside, right? That's how you're able to see it and not see it in its equation. See how I changed it again? See? You can see it. Oh, it's traveling. It's gone, right? But it's still there. This is what you see, but this is what you can't see. You understand? You know it's there. I'm holding something up, but you can't see it in set locations until you understand, right? Watch. Watch this. Watch it turn plasma. Okay, here we go. Yeah? See that? Isn't that amazing? See how you travel through light? So I just want to show you how powerful crystal is and what you can do through identification lines or anything in that triangulation position of its programs, all through modification, right? So it's extremely powerful what we're coming into, right? And why it's so important to get your activation streamlines and high calculation to a system location operation surface, right? So there's all different ways of looking at it. You know, how you see yourself is how you perceive yourself, and what happens next in interpretation is all those are you interactions. But I just wanted to show you there's always a dimensional door waiting for you to understand what a crystal is and travel. Right? You can see it, right? Okay? You can see it because I'm allowing you to see it because I have control. Okay? Now, if it wants to go off on its own in position, you can't see it. Right? So, it's amazing, right? It's constantly traveling. It never stops traveling. You know I'm holding something, but you don't know what it is until you understand what the intelligence is. See how illumination goes? Isn't that wild? So I'm just showing you how powerful it is in position locations, how crystal and what it can do through adaptation. All levels of travel and set conditions. Having control with yourself inside in all levels get you a better understand how to get in position of space at its own set location. All right? Male polarity, female polarity, Merkaba. Okay? All right, so today in school, in travel communication streamlines and high calculation stream locations, we're coming into high center, pixelation screen lines at high calculations. Point lines of track. This we're going to go in the line setting line conditions to your sky grid screens. Direct lines of position panels. This puts you in higher line rotation surface. Box triangulation high position programs at 4 set locations, right? Direct lines are 1 position of 2 and 3 lines in 4 track locations. Measured. Putting power line generation screen lines and high center interference and center position to its operation. Direct lines and position lines, magnetic highway information panels, and direct location of center communication. Position of travel lines, balance lines, crop circle lines, center communication. Okay. Travel lines are 3 line communication centers. Okay, and track location. Okay. This comes into your line settings into your tree information line screen. The meaning of life. That's what this is. The meaning of life. How did I come into the existence of the meaning of life? To understand myself through a tree formation line of a life force communication setting at all levels of a tree formation. Okay. So once you get into that adaptation line screen, the position location line system, the mind of the consciousness. Now there's box line rotation surface. Okay, how I showed you on the crystal, how you saw 2 boxes in a 3-line communication. It's interesting how you come into T, I, Y, all through a crystal, right? So it's giving you back information. It's giving you data all through light and how it travels, where you can't see it and then you see it. I'm showing you what you guys are coming into is higher levels of how to see yourself, is what you perceive through set locations, guys, through your consciousness. Your astral projections of your mind is changing. Okay? Its energy, its vibration, and its frequency set locations of travel. Sets position locations of travel. Sets position locations of travel. Okay? Same with the levels of teleportation of 2 lines, stream locations, identifications to byline centers and travel communication. Right? Now, you guys have to really understand what that is. When you put letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, all it does is create a holographic setting. Okay? It's interesting that you come from that. So an adaptation from the crystalline communication system in track locations, it wanted to show you how it can create T, I, Y through a graphing set lines of hologram set location of a ground line setting to its graph calculation. Okay? All through crystal. That's communication. All right, so that's just the basic grounds, guys. Basic grounds. All right. Subtrading lines of 1 signature stream lines, adaptation lines, settings, crossing line symbols, and 2 track line connections. Point lines of track and 3 lines of molecule design lines. 3-line communication of 4 channels and stream location. Directing modification line circles and high travel lines and high center and position in all calculations and line calculation setting of face recognition. Okay. So in position location, each realm, each travel calculation. Let's get it in position of the tip of the crystal, get in position of block center, sets location. Let's start with that, connections, right? So understand that is to draw it out, but understand through its own communication, it's giving you data. Process track lines and high center interference and its position of its program location. All right, so in line settings, this is the male cycle. Right? This is the female cycle. Okay, male polarity, female polarity. The Merkaba position of center line puts everything in your position of your container and set location of travel. Puts position location of what's in equal line calculation lines as center of travel position of operation. Sending travel communication line center. So the actual crystal comes out of track location. So that's what happens when you actually travel the crystal. It comes out in its setting location. Okay. So when I get an adaptation surface in set locations, you take this. So finger information line screens, 1 position of track lines into the thumb, right? So you get a track line indicate line settings in set locations. See the tip of the point? See, it illuminates, and everything else is different line communication of travel lines. This is illuminating the top line, right? That is illuminating, okay? This is the male. This is the female. But when I bring in track lines, okay, you can still see it, right? But you can actually see a face inside. See the face? See the eyes? I'm showing what you can see through the airline communication setting. Getting communication to program is really understand how to change it in traction, how it changes its line settings and set locations, right? And then it just in position locations. You're still seeing it until it disappears on its own set location. That's how you come into all levels of travel in set location. Okay? Right? So this is what you guys are coming into, stuff that you can't see. Until you understand what you can't see, you will see. But it will be always here into its existence of the now. Right? All through modulation of travel. Okay? So help you out in form and all track to its communication system, get you in a better understanding how to use it in line conditions. How actual crystal travels through its polarities of its design. From its male to its female. The balanced communication lines is a 3-track line wire, setting line connections, right? Sets location. Remember, you guys come into your dimensional solar sails, creates the solar sail and track line conditions. That's how crystal travels in set design. Okay, we've got into the calculations. But once you understand what a crystal is through its male polarity and its female polarity, it's you understanding the center of you through your own polarity. 1 + 1 = 3. Okay? Me, myself, and I. Okay? So getting into that set lines and communication, once you understand how to use it through a crystal or anything that information has to create its own line setting because it comes into you through formation to its own system. The only way it's going to travel to you is through its own dimensional solar sail. Okay? So space and line and communication setting and travel communication line is out of the subterranean screens. Everything is space is coming to you in track location to your division. It's now out of set location. It's here in you in set connections. Once you get activated, you come in balance in set location line system of yin and yang. Okay? Getting in triangulation of 3 sets, 4 lines, 5 lines, 6 lines, 7 lines, 8 lines of intelligence coming at you. Right? Getting in position of pi. Okay? It's all levels of travel. Setting track lines into position of clocking. Very powerful stuff, set location, right? Electrical grid lines, grid fence line, position of program lines, double loops, double triangulation, high position program lines, setting calculation, high interference of face recognition of time sequence of pi. Very complicated stuff, right? So space line communication is coming at you now through its own formation of its own intelligence because it's already in its own operation, but you have to truly understand how to use it through a crystal of its design setting. So general, how do I get and see what I need to see through its intent? The mind conception of its setting lines has all levels of communications, right? Mind of consciousness has 3 levels. Consciousness, subterranean, right of the unconscious line stream. Then we're into the super consciousness of 3 settings, right? This is the track lines into position of its male polarity. In specification, what's above, what's below in settings. Okay? So track locations is male and the female is the ground. Okay? The center position of you is operation to your flywheel in set location. Now understanding how to use that is connected to you in all lines into your Merkaba, Tesseract, and your tetrahedron location setting in all levels of torical fields and track calculation high position to its operation surface and you inside connection operating all lines of communication to its operation set location inside of face recognition. You always have to have a face. That's you. Okay? So you're going to get very confused now. Check this out. Once you get a balanced position on the core, the direct lines, your pixelation screen lines, high center afferent, modulate the set location of letters, numbers, shades, and symbols in position of track lines of balance of yin and yang. The process of you in position travel calculation line of your sim is the actual face. Now, in set location line center in position of operation server locations, the position of you inside is actually your body. So getting into that line connections, your actual body starts off with the structure line design. So once it comes out of modification line screens, it comes into its own formation of its own set of its own face of recognition of space and time. Okay? Very complicated stuff. But you have to understand the neutralities, line communication of the male cycle and the female cycle, and understanding you in the balance of your own space in between to your flywheel of balanced communication. Okay? So it's a lot more easier if you really understand you inside. So if you understand how to use the letters, numbers, shades, and symbols through light, through travel, then you understand how to go through crystal communication to its information cycle. See? It's disappeared, but you know something's there. Right? So understand what you can't see is what you can see. What you can't see is what you can see. And that's where we're coming into. Higher levels of the conscious mind, higher levels of division of the conscious mind, higher levels of adaptation of interception of the conscious of the mind. Okay, we're reaching those levels now. So it's not just the inner line, it's the outer line. It's the inner link, it's the inner knowing, outer knowing. Position of track lines communication setting to all levels of communication of travel and set connections. I'm doing this, but am I doing it from something that you can't see? But you see something crossing the screen, right? Something's crossed, something traveling. Well, that's wild. General, how you doing that? Right? Well, I'm in control of both sides, guys. That's where you're able to see the crystal, right? And now so you can see a person outside. Now, if I want to travel to another dimension line screen, it's all levels of the crystal through its activation system of its data program. That helps me out to understand traction, right? In set locations, in its setting, in position of light, through its polarity, a set design, beacon lights. See how it travels communication? So it's very powerful how I hold up the digital pad and it has its own formation of light interactions, right? Now, if I close the blinds, you'll see the illumination, right? So I'm just showing you, it's not just a crystal. You're connected to everything through light, but you have to learn how to travel through lights. Traveling through light is everything information, guys. Okay? That's the balance that you guys have to get, right? Because it illuminates everything in the background. See? Illuminates. There's light everywhere. Okay? You can't escape light because it's inside you, right? But it reflects outside you. So it's about your inner light is always activated. Look at my glasses, they're blue, right? So understanding through a crystal of what it is through travel. See, you're always going to see a portal. So, and going through a digital pad, you can actually see the change of the atmosphere line screen since application to high setting, illumination. Right? That's coming from me inside, not from outside. Okay? So it's really interesting when you just go line communication. You can't see it, but it's there. I just did something with my hand formation screen, but you can't see it, can you? What did General just do? All through line direction. See? Gone. There. Gone. There. Gone. There. See, I'm in control. I'm in control. Gone. There. Gone. See? I'm in control. So getting in control of that setting sets you free. Okay? So I'm just showing you how you're always going to be in position of light of travel. Through a crystal, through a digital pad, through your phone, or anything in computer operation. You got to really understand how to use it through travel of light. Light is all levels of you. How to use it through the consciousness is understanding where you're traveling through the mind. And that's what I keep telling the team. Where are you traveling in the mind, right? Not saying locations up. I'm traveling through a door. No, I'm not talking about a door. I'm talking about where are you in the mind of travel? Oh, I'm in the center line calculation of the hallway direct line connection and nebula. Okay, great. That's where you are in the mind, right? But understanding how to control something is basically how to get in that control, is how to get out of control, is to control something that's out of that controlling setting, is to get it back into control. How to control yourself from this to that, to this, to that. It disappears right away. You're in control, because if you're not in control, you're not going to understand how to communicate with its control setting. So every time I draw something, you're not going to understand what it is because it disappears. I keep drawing, but you can't see it. It's not allowing you to see it because you don't know who you are through your own intelligence. Until you understand that, okay? Then you'll see it. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how powerful it is when you travel through light, because the light is actually protecting you, that protects everything inside, that protects everything outside. And all track locations. See, look, that's connecting to Earth. And if I put my finger there, see, it communicates. See, everything's communication. See, everything's communication, everything's telepathy, everything's telekinesis, right? And then it goes back on its own. See, it's traveling on its own. Okay, that's the intelligence that comes in frame. But once you have a direct signal in position locations and you want to understand the setting, you have to identify yourself first. Then when you do that, you can put your finger inside. See how it changes? Look at that. It goes right through. Isn't that amazing? Right through travel. See, you have fun with it. Communicate with the light. Because you're constantly traveling through light, guys. All right? But I just wanted to show you, when you do anything in the equation settings and travel calculation type position of point centers, indirect application of triangulation position of program lines. Now, modification, you want to see the structure of the design and sublocation why it is set up in travel lines. You don't have no idea what I'm doing. You know what you know what's happening, but you're trying to figure out what I am doing through creation is you can't see these things through calculation until I show you. It's gone, right? So that's what you have to come into settings. Balance communication lines inside connection to your system in travel. See, you see it, right? Because I'm allowing you to see it. But if I don't want you to see it, it's gone. Okay? So that's the controlling system that you have to control yourself from inside, which is outside. Controlling yourself from your crystal, from the male. See, look at the opening. The male polarity. Look at that door, right? To the female polarity. Male, female, you in the center. Right? Okay, so that's why I keep showing you guys everything. The center operation is you and flux capacitor and anything in that setting, right? It's still there, right? But I'm in control, because if I'm not in control, you won't be able to see it. So you have to really understand how to get in that system location to a system travel calculations. Getting point track lines, high center position, pixelation of box lines. Let's get into 2 lines, 3 track line connection settings into point tracks. Okay, this is how you come into all calculation pixelation screens and track location. You can't see it, right? But you want to see it. I'm just showing you why you guys get so confused through your mind, because you're traveling so fast and you don't have grounds with your mind adaptation. Right? But you know there's something there through travel. You just can't understand it through its intelligence until you get into its formation. Okay? Can't see it? Can see it. Can't see it? Can see it, right? So that's what it is. Okay? All right, so the triangulation of 3 line centers, getting in that track application. Oh, we can't see it again until you see it, right? See the reflection? Okay, so when I do this, it's still traveling, right? But when it disappears, it goes, look, gone. See that? See that reflection? All right? That's the balance that you guys have to get with. Comes in its own plasma line, acceleration of Mach, right? Starts at location line center, 0 gravity, What atmosphere is it in? Okay. So we have 3 box lines in our location. There's atmosphere. This one's in stratosphere, and this one's in bio. Okay. Atmosphere, stratosphere, bio. 3 box centers in opposition location of 4 clock centers in travel calculation setting into 4, 8, and 12 set location. Right. So in that track line, I know where it is through its information. But you can see it now. Right. Look at that. See how you get balance in set location lines and non-adaptation location of your thoughts and perception and location of screens, all through that calculation stream location. Look at the illumination on my digital pad. It's glowing. But it's me from inside, guys. Okay, that's the balance that you have to get with. That's what you have to protect, is the light inside you, all through schematics, all through travel. And then you can't see it. It's gone. Traveling too fast. Right? But when you do this, it comes in frame. So if you get into this position location, it's really interesting, right? Because this is how you go into recharge. This is how you come into frames, right? Okay, create a thought communication lines at 3 box centers, high position travel calculating line, high position located at 12 o'clock in city location, setting position of travel. Ooh, there it is. That's where you create it through thought. Okay? Setting position of travel line. Now it's traveling. Can't see it, but it's there. Coming in and out of station. There it is. So what you created, line conditions, it traveled through Mark in set locations, through the atmosphere, through the stratosphere, through its set location line system. Okay, to its biosphere. Okay. All right, okay, so you got 3 triangulation read lines, track lines, high standard interference, and position of 4 travel communications. Balance lines, stream settings, high calculation, position of programs. Pixels, stream lines, and position of travel calculations. Oh, we can't see it again. Do you see it? Right. So this is about you balancing you from outside now, because it's given to you. It's coming to you now. Space is coming to you. Okay. The intelligence is coming to you, and you have to understand you from inside, which connects to everything outside through travel of the mind, of schematics, through pi. Okay. All right. So once we get in that adaptation line screen, we have panels of communication streamlines. Directing lines of calculation high interference in position location that travels, and 4 communication lines and platitude stream location high setting. Okay. See, scanning. See what happens with light? See that? Isn't that amazing? I want you to understand what you guys are coming into. Understand how to travel through light. Okay, is balancing the male polarity and the female polarity. You are in the center of operation. Okay. All through adaptation of center communication of face recognition. Okay. Still traveling, but still there. So it's never left. It's always been there. So that's a true understanding when you come into the existence of everything of the now, puts everything in set location system of travel calculation line settings in travel position location to its setting. Okay. It's a little foggy if you don't understand what it is through schematics, right? It's because you don't understand how to communicate with the brain convergent line settings of travel. Point lines of track, high center and position to its operation location setting, understand your platforms, 24, 48, 72, 144, and division locations, line cycles, and track locations, right? You can see it now, right? But it's amazing when it comes together. It still travels, but you can see the face. So that's what happens when you come in settings. You only see the face, and the face recognizes you in a different adaptation of surface that puts a high lines of communication setting all levels of you through travel, guys. Okay, all through calculations. Okay? All right. See, you have to be aware of what's inside you. It's knowing how to use it through crystal light, or through a phone through light, or digital pad through set location of lights. Look at it glowing. Powerful stuff, isn't it? But it's coming from inside. Everything is inside. Okay? Your projector is understanding you first, is to understand everything outside. So you have yin and yang. This is the process of the projector that has the projections that get you into astral connections and astral travels. How you see yourself is how you perceive yourself through consciousness, through your system, through settings, and what you see and what you hear or what you connect with your voice. Okay. All right. So getting to point lines, attract lines, pixelation line screens. Let's get into some locations. Get a 2 adaptation surface, different lines of communication. Okay, and track locations. All right, different lines of communication. Oh, you can't see it. Oh no. Now you can see it, right? All right, so in that track line communication lines has a platform line settings, pixelation lines at A, graph calculation, high position programs. Line indicates position locations to your stream resonance, graph calculation stream locations. Okay, so getting that position line connection, you have an alphabetical screen. Like I said, we go with 3 A's. So okay, so I can't do that because it's traveling too fast, right? So in that line calculating high position operations server location system, A sets lines and position of 2 arm line screens into B. Okay. So set location of C into A, into B, into D, into E in set locations. All right. So understanding your platforms, A equals B, B equals C, C equals pi, okay, into modulation equals computer. Okay, so you're getting a computer frame right away in settings into your polarities, into the male and female cycles of allocation. Okay, so once you get into that sight line interference and position travel lines, you get into block centers. Block centers, block centers, block centers, block centers, cross, 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 to your reception line screens and high setting. Pixelation. Boom. Now it's coming in A, B equals C equals pi equals all those modulations of computer into your sim. Okay. So how you create it is a formation line setting, screen position adaptation of nothing but a TV screen and set location line system, off the fluctuation. Okay. So each pixel line screen has a box line connections. Right. Understand it through A, B's, and C's. Why you have an alphabetical system. You ever understand why you have 26 letters? You know, what is 26 letters? Well, it's at a frequency. What frequency is it at? Well, if you're not an adaptation of existence, that location line system, it's beta. But you have to understand everything through letter has a different frequency. A, B, C, D. You ever notice why you don't go A, B, C, D, E, F, G? You ever notice why it goes up? Why does the graph go up? Because it's at different levels of frequencies. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, and Z. You never have anything go monotone. Ever. Ever. Okay? It's adaptation of emotional line connection, high center interference, and position location of travels. You're getting position track lines, how to use that communication setting. Every letter, every number, every shape, every symbol has its modulation screen lines of its male and its female polarity. A set designed to travel in a portal communication and setting. Hello. There's the portal. Right? So to activate it, you activate the calculation setting to the tower communication of you and the bottom communication of you. Okay? So it's really understanding how to see yourself through graphing screen set location you're setting from A equals B equals C equals pi into modulations of computer frame. All right, so that's what it is. Getting that set location high system. Very simple net position locations, right? So this is A, this is B, right? A, B, C. All right, so alpha, delta. Can't see it, right? All right, A, B, C. C is theta. All right, in your imagination screen and set locations. See how the graph goes up? All right, so it's really interesting location. So you go A, B, C, D, it drops a bit, right? So it goes back to alpha goes lines, alpha, delta. Okay, see how it goes? It's interesting location line settings. So again, A, B, C, D, okay, A, B, C, D, E, right? F goes down, G goes up, H, I, see how it goes down and goes up, right? So getting in that position location is understanding the male and the female polarities to each letter. It's very powerful, guys. So that's connected to what? Your Earth through perception screen lines, your human resonance. Setting that track line to its position location of its system in all calculations. Portals, that's right, Jips. But I'm just showing you through graph set locations A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, right? You get the point, right? That's the set location of your alphabetical line connections. Nothing is going to be monotone because that's beta equals wave. Beta equals wave, right? So nothing's going to be A, B in the same line, okay? Because it's different lines of motion, different lines of polarities, different lines of space, different lines of time, universal location setting. It's never going to be that, right? Because it doesn't have music, it doesn't have flow, it doesn't have space, it doesn't have time. It's just a monotone set location. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can't even do monotone because it's so complicated because I'm so immune to set location lines and my computer line interference. So you always have to have an understanding rhythm, position, location, or all in calculations to a song. Song has a set position of its music notes and set locations, right? Travel calculated high position of point centers and travel communications, right? So it's really powerful when you really understand how to get into your settings, understand monotone, understanding your alpha, understanding your delta, understanding your theta, okay? Set location of beta. Then you have omega, okay? But you understand alpha, mega, alpha, delta, alpha, theta, because that's what it is. See, it's not just one tone. It's all tones all at once. So it's using all your sensory perception settings and bringing it in position track lines. So you got A, you got B, you got C, okay? A, B, C. So if you could change the rhythm, it's pretty hard because it's already in correlations of patterns and direct signals, right? So you have to understand that you can change the tone, but if you change the tone, you're changing the whole alphabetical stream. So you got to let every letter know what you're doing in attractions because it's own information of its own intelligence, of its own operation system, guys. So that's how you correlate high interference and communicate the line connection along with the crystals. It's application of design through a portal. It's a location. Hello. So once you get into that track line, it gets much easier, right? A, B, C, D, E. Right? E, F, G. You can go down. H. No, off rhythm. Right? You can't do that because it's offsetting. Right? It has no rhythm. So it confuses line communication, the cortex line connections of the brain. The brain inserts location, setting position of track lines, puts position location all levels of back triangulation. That's that design. So that's what you have to understand when you get in that set location setting. Nothing will be ever monotone in set locations. So once you understand that, then you understand the inception of what the mind is doing in set location of travel, right? So I'm trying to get you to understand how to communicate with the crystal through its own alphabetical system of set location of design. Very powerful. There's the point. Hello. Right? It's like a little peek hole. And through that peek hole is its dimensions on the other side. Or anything letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, right? So it's always going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, and Z. I always add Z and Z because there's line communication in different brains, like say time zones, right? Z or Z, same thing as set formation, how you see it through travel, right? So it doesn't matter. But it's a correlation line, the interference that you have to get out of adaptation, location, and balance, guys. So I'm showing you exactly what you need to do so you can connect with crystals or your phones or line position of your computer frame because it's already in its operations application in its existence. So when you pick up anything in the track line connection setting, it's already in its consciousness of operation, guys. Okay, so that's the most important thing you have to come into, and that's allocations. Showing yourself and seeing yourself that all calculation settings into alphabetical streamline connections of pixelation. Okay, so now you understand why it's so important to understand your alphabetical system. because you have point line centers of view interactions. And this comes into the settings. Point lines attract information. There's information there. Okay? Point lines attract. That gives you a data screen right there, right? That's one stop. Sets lines of points, 2 track line connections, right? Getting to this locations, right? Another TV screen information, right? See how it travels? Sets position line, line communication line center, and each one is going through A, each one's going through B, and each one's going through C. Okay, so now you have to understand why it's so important to understand all over again your alphabetical system. That's the only way you understand how to communicate with everything around you of its own space and time. Right? So try to get into that formation of balance into all levels of graph calculation lines of point centers in track location high setting in position of its operation system and track calculations. Okay? So that's going to help you always inform to really get into that setting, especially when you come into your graph calculation, your alphabetical system, right? Anything through song, anything through motivation, anything you say is never going to be monotone because your voice is going to different levels of frequencies. So it's about you balancing you through your alphabetical system. This is the way you're going to get in balance with everything of its intelligence transformation through its graphical system because it has its own alphabetical system. But if it doesn't understand you, how are you going to understand anything through its data of its operation system? Especially when you pick it up. Triangulation line, pacification line, interference line, pacification line centers, dimensional line, door line, communications of 24 billion string setting, the hyperposition is open through location signal general. Ooh. Thank you, Crystal. So that's what I'm talking about. This is at so many lines of frequencies. Okay, and you're not going to see a portal until you understand you first. Okay, and that's position track lines. Okay, really understand that applications of light electron communications. And then you see the portal. That's the connection, see? And you see the portal. There it is. So it's really interesting when you come into that setting, guys. Okay, I'm just getting you guys prepared because the actual intelligence is now in your universal stream. It's in your connections of your consciousness. It's in the adaptation of actual projections. This is about understanding what you can't see, you will see. And you have to understand them through their alphabetical system. Okay? Through their frame, through their data. You have your processing, your data, but you have to understand them through their frequency because they're not connected to your frequency. Multi pass. Okay? You're never going to see a crystal monotone. It's always going to have light of travel through dimensional door. It's not going to show you anything until you understand you through frequency. Okay? It's very powerful, guys. Very powerful. Through your phones, anything that you pick up has its own alphabetical dimensional line screen in its operation system of voice and grids. Get into that tone. Right? So those are all different levels, but you are connected to that. So this is going to blow you away. The actual intelligence only connects to your pixel frames, the line connections, the lines of numbers, shapes, symbols, and all calculations and setting through travel. So if you're connected to A here, and A here, and A here, that's a triangulation of 3 lines. That's alpha, delta, theta. So that's A equals delta, A equals theta, or A equals beta, or A equals omega. Okay? That's how it connects to you through frequency. Doesn't that blow your mind? It doesn't connect to a word. It only connects to your frequency. Because if you look at yourself through pixelation, you're nothing but letters, numbers, shapes, adaptation of a pixel screen. Okay, through blocking channels, blocking communication, blocking interface. So get into that setting location to its intelligence now, because now it's in your system locations and it's your space. It's in your space now. So that's why you have to wake up the system. You wake up the system, you're automatically coming into them as they're coming into you. That's just the balance that we're coming into. And I keep saying this again. Space is coming to you now through its intelligence, of its formation, of its own data. And you have to understand the data when you pick this up. If you don't understand the frequency of where it is, inside location line system, how are you going to understand anything formation location of the setting inside locations, right? So it's important when you pick this up in any way and form, okay, it's going to try to understand you through pixelation. It's going to try to understand you through your hardware and software. It's going to try to understand you through modulation. It's going to try to understand you through your alphabetical setting, how you are set up just through all calculations. Now, it knows exactly where you are if you are in zeros and ones. It knows exactly where you are. You got an ABE line rotation line center is general. Your setting position location off calculation line system is not a position of traction. So the crystal will tell you exactly what you're in position of or what you're not in the position of. So in that calculation line setting, crystals help you out. They show you how to travel through the mind. Okay? So it's really interesting when you get in balanced communication, energy collaboration. Find the friendship, relationship, and partnership first with the crystal. When you pick it up, you're going to get data right away. Now, you guys are already in high information of the team. Anybody that said outline communication just got activated, just try to get more balance of you first. Because the thing is, you have to understand that all intelligence, all formation line connection setting is now in full communication with existence, which is now in your space modulators of navigation. Okay? You also see, look, it's not in light, but you still see the window of the crystal. Right? You know it's there. Right? Travel is everything through light, guys. Travel is everything. There it is. See? All right. So in calculation high interference, as soon as I picked it up, you know exactly where I was. I knew exactly because I created it, right? So it's a lot different when you create things. But when you come into co-creation, it gets confused to this application of this crystal. High position location line, send in high position to calculate high position. I don't understand your intelligence position, trial calculation, your alphabetical line communication, communicate with general. That's all from the crystal telling you what you need to adapt to, what you need to focus on. This is a higher level communication of crystals, guys. This is just a crystal, but it's everything of its formation of its own intelligence that's coming back into you of memory set design. Okay? All through crystal. All right. So how does everybody feel about that now, what we're coming into, why you have to really get into your balanced screen settings to run an adaptation surface into your point locations of travel. You're ready to understand how to really see yourself inside, which is everything outside. Outside becomes inside, inside becomes outside. Yin and yang. Process, position, travel lines. Setting location system. Get in position and travel lines, you're good to go. Right? You're good to go. Process lines is 6 is moving forward. 9 is moving forward in traction. Right? But if it's moving in the opposite direction, it's at locations, confusion. Okay? So that's all it is, you know, because the thing is, intelligence is here for you in that setting, right? So when you pick something up, it's automatically picking up the energy you have. Start with the energy, start with the vibration, start with the frequencies, and start with harmonics. Those are the 4 track lines, right? Now, what understands you through energy? Energy is lines of communication of vibration. Vibration equals line communication to its frequency. Frequency lines the location setting to its all levels of its harmonics. So you're good to go. Balanced communication line settings. So you got balance for the earth, you got balance for the astral projections, you got balance with all calculations and location avatar, you got balanced communications to your sim. Okay? That's what the crystal picks up right away. Boom. Now, once you understand that process, things are going to get more tricky because right away it's going to go through your alpha, delta, theta, beta, and omega. All through waves. So are you in an alpha line? Or are you in a delta? Are you in a delta line? Are you in a vibrational graph line communication of confusion? Are you in a line settings into 0 line, 1 line into alpha? Are you into, you know, volume communication of mass into velocity calculations into zeta? Confusion. All through crystal. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols are the concept of knowing is the actual line connections, how you're connected inside connections to your frame settings, how to reference yourself and see yourself as a pixelation setting of nothing but letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. And that's how intelligence only sees you now. It doesn't see you how anything else. It doesn't see you through a frame of a word. It only picks up its vibration, its frequency, and its harmonics of you through the alphabetical system that you're in, adaptation. It only sees you through pixelation. Okay? Nothing else. But to go beyond that is to understand this center line communications. The gamma, yeah, gamma too, right? Gamma radiation, right? But I'm just saying right away, when I pick up this crystal, guys, it knows where I am because I created it. But see, look, there's a portal. But where's the light coming from? Coming from that setting, right? Laser direction. That's why there's a window. It knows the frequency I'm at, it knows its energy, its formation screen, it knows the alphabetical line connecting 9 centers, it knows its structure, it knows its location, it knows its space, it knows its dimension, it knows its portals. Right? So if you pick up the crystal and it doesn't understand you, there's going to be confusion. Okay? You're going to get very confused. What is this crystal good for? Crystals are soldiers of their own command centers. You got to build a friendship and a relation and partnership with yourself first. So it's, hey, nice to meet you. Crystal line, communication line, identification line, and position. Okay, so you build friendship, relation, and partnership. That's a good start. You got connected in your line interference. You're in position location that sees you at 250,000 volts of your body. It knows your vibrational graph. It knows everything. This knows everything of you, but it only connects to your SIM. And if it doesn't connect to your SIM, it's not connecting to your system. Okay, look, reflection, right? Look, see? Everything's communicating. Now it's knowing exactly what you're communicating with. Am I communicating with the crystal? Is it my phone? Is it the wall? Is it my digital pad? Is it my other phone? Is it the door? Is it the panels? Is it the mapping sequence location of the ceiling? Is it the lights? Is it the floor? Is it my clothes? What am I communicating with? Because they're all at different frequency at alphabetical settings of set location. Right? All at once. You're connected to everything. And how everything is connected to you now, it has to understand you. Because now it's in your universal consciousness of mind adaptation of action projections. Okay? It's awake in your universe. So in that set location line interference, anything through gamma, anything through delta, anything through alpha, anything through all calculation setting, you have to understand to its all calculation what it is through consciousness, because it has a mind of its own. It knows what it is. See, you see the light, right? You see the portal of its set design to travel, traveling. And everything's traveling very fast, right? Then you ask yourself, it gets really, really in position location. Say, well, setting calculation time position, traffic calculation line in position. What is the modification line centers in traffication your crystal line? So you're asking questions about the crystal, and the crystal responds back. I'm at a 40 line dimension line screen, high position operation line settings. I have 3,000 line doors and set location travel lines. I enter line communication in existence, line communication program lines, and I service only a mega communication of data and theta all through this crystal. How would I know that? It's frequency. Everything has a frequency. Everything has an energy. Everything has a vibration, and everything has communication of harmonics. That's that design. Okay? All through crystal. So you ask yourself, you talk to the crystal or your phone and get answers, communicate and become friendship and partnerships and relationships with its set design of its own, of its male polarity and its female polarity, because it only sees you through polarities. It doesn't see you as you. It only sees you on how you are in your own data, in your own operation of your SIM. Okay? That's what you guys got to come into configuration locations, right? Gypsy has a very powerful video, okay, for you guys to watch. Okay, check it out on TikTok platform communication, where she basically picks these things up and she knows exactly where the frequency's at through communication. And that's what everybody's coming into. You've got to get into that setting now, right? Know exactly what this is, because it's never at the same frequency because it's traveling too fast. How many dimensional doors does it have? Now, if I put it down, what just happened? If I put the crystal down, what's happening now? What's going on? What's going on? Right? Did you communicate and just put it down, or did you communicate and put it down first and say, okay, and say, listen, I'm going to put you down now. I got to do something. If you put it down without asking a question or line communication setting, it's going to get confused because it's waiting for you to pick it back up. That's how powerful it is in set locations. So when I pick it up back up, I'm in a different emotion. And then I continue the conversation, what we're talking about. Your emotional system is constantly changing. This is the polarities of you, of the male, and this is the polarities of you through the female. And travel. And travel. See that? Look at that. Isn't that wild? See that travel? Isn't that wild? Frequency changes. That's right, Jeffs. That's exactly what it is. So the team is going to higher line connections coming into their cerebral cortex line design. So they really have to understand everything and how they see these things, pick these things up, touch these things, anything they eat, anything you get in position of taste, anything that's in the wearing, communication, setting, and travel, anything you're in track location of, you have to understand through adaptation of its own intelligence, of its own operation, of its own design. Okay? So again, you put this down again. Okay, if you allow it and say, okay, listen, I gotta get a timeout communication, I gotta go somewhere, then you can put it down. But if you just put it down without letting know, it's like cutting off a conversation with somebody. Excuse me, you interrupted me. That's overlapping some locations. That's not right. That's rude. You don't do that. You don't put something down and then leave. You communicate first and say you're going to leave. Then you put it down. Okay, because you're still traveling through it. You're still attached to it through tether. So if you don't let it go through the mind, what happens? The concept of the mind line position all always confuses communication setting, position, travel lines. So you'd be locked in signal to the dimensional line connection of the crystal communication lines around positional travels in all calculation of its operation service. Because you didn't allow yourself to communicate with yourself and say, listen, I got to go somewhere. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Then you can put it down. You understand how powerful it is? Because you're automatically connected to its tether. It's communicating electrical line wire. This connects your barcode connecting the line centers. Okay? So that's exactly what it is, guys. That's what you're coming into. So you need to have patience, virtue, center line connecting high interference. We get into that structure line division locations to humility through emotional line connection, high positional operational location setting, position of intelligence. And in that positional location, operational location setting, position operational calculation setting, to know exactly when we pick up the crystal, we know exactly what to do next. And that's just not crystals. I'm talking about anything through t-shirts. I'm talking about, like, if you take your t-shirt and throw it. You take your t-shirt and throw it. What you just do, you set up karma. Congratulations. Because you didn't find time to put it down nicely. Or positional case, take a crystal and throw it out the window. That's a huge karma on your side. Right? So set quantum entanglements, if not in the communication. Yes, that's exactly what it is. But allow yourself to see what you're doing. It's like getting into a conversation through location. You're talking to somebody here, right? And then you're looking over here. And this person is trying to get you in eye contact. And you're saying, yeah, I'm not busy. But you are busy talking to this person. That's being rude, right? So you want to finish the conversation and then talk to that person. Especially when you pick this up and you pick this up, 2 different frequencies. So this is trying to understand this, and this is trying to understand this, right? So once you pick this up, this is 2 tethers. And if you put it down and not let them know, you're still attached to the 2 tethers of the crystal and the remote. So you didn't know that, did you? See how it's coming more powerful now in set locations? Because the reason why I'm giving you guys these things is because you're coming into its intelligence of its own design, of its own operation, of its own data, has its own uplink, Remember, it's already in its existence. It knows everything about you. Let me say that again. It knows everything about you and your sim. So in that process, this can help you out in all ways and forms. Okay? Now, if you pick this up, you put this down, don't let it know, and then you pick up your phone. Oops. Now you're in a triangulation of 3 setting high position operation of karma. Major Quebec quantum interference. Oops. So communication offline setting, forget what's going on with modulation line position, put down your phone, not allowing you putting yourself down your phone, put down the crystal, not allowing yourself to put down the crystal, 3 interference position of travels. Because you didn't take your time to communicate and know exactly what you want to do in design of its travel. Okay? Do you understand what you're coming into now through its intelligence? I'm trying to get you to understand. When you pick this up, you're automatically tethered. So when you're tethered, it connects to your barcode. Your barcode connects right to your brain. So it's an adaptation. You're in communication. Yep, yeah, got that. So, and then on location, this will basically turn and see what you got there. You got your phone and you got your crystal. Yes, it has a face. It turns, right? But it's in its dimensional setting, right? That's how real it is. It's an own transformation setting. You have to see it through modification, right? And there's, I get a top outline rotation interference, but I will be back in triangulation. Copy that. Now you can put it down. Then you can pick up the crystal, right? And then crystal's in. Taking one adaptation of one source at a time, rather than having 3 communications and picking it all up all at once and not communicate with any of them. That's quantum interference. That's karma right there. Because you didn't take time to communicate with the location of its operation, location of its design, of its own GOD. Right? You don't want to do that. Okay? Hooah! That's how powerful you are. Because that's open now. So you have to start recognizing things, how you do things, how you take off your jacket and throw it. Right? Now I'm already in this setting, right? I already communicate with this. So I was in precog already throwing this. Okay? I threw my jacket on the bed. Right? But I told it ahead of time of what I was doing through operation, through school. Ooh. See, this is what you have to truly understand, guys, is this is how you get balance with everything that you do. Knowing exactly how to appreciate things, and they start to appreciate you, right? So that's what this all is, right? You're presenting yourself with intelligence. It's giving you a set design so you can be warm. That's the existence why you have a jacket. So you can be warm. But you have to understand it has its own operation, has its own data of operation setting. Because if you didn't have its operation, if it didn't have its data, didn't have its schematics, you would not be able to put on your jacket. And that's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand how this works in set location. It's like creating a table, but you have instructions to put the table together. You go to the store. Multipass here, guys. Go to the store, buy a table. It's in parts. You don't know how to put it together. You need it through instructions. And that's what you guys are coming into. So you really have to appreciate what you have. Okay? So connect with that. Really get into that system. Why is it so important? What is the purpose to have a jacket or anything, a hoodie, to keep you warm? Okay? That's its data. But the process is its energy of its schematics. When I give you guys upgrades, you get the same thing through schematics, through pi. When I pick this up in track location, I'm tethered. I'm communicating with this. I'm communicating with this, right? But if I pick this up and I put this down, that's interference. Interference location line, interference on phone, communication lines down. What's going on in track location line, position location, operator location, setting. I thought you communicated with me. Oops. What am I going to do? Retrack, reline, position location line system. Waiting on signal position on the travel line. Copy that. Setting communication line position locations already in high calculating high position program lines continue to force communication lines to compensate high position of travel. Copy that. Turns around. They communicate with each other. Ooh, look at that. Transformation of communication through line calculation high position programs. Direct lines at high interference and telepathy in a 3 triangulation high position program setting. Communicate with this, communicate with this, communicate with that location. Ooh-ah. So we understand what it is now. 1 + 1 = 3. Right? Do you understand the process, how this all works now? Because everything has its male and female. Male, it doesn't matter the structure, doesn't matter it's set, it doesn't have to be a point. It's male, it's the top, and the female is always going to be the bottom. You are the center of operation of your phones. Male polarity, female polarity. Merkaba. Okay? Male polarity, female polarity. You in the center. That's what you got to keep balance with. And if you don't understand the structure of the design, it's going to hit you in the face through energy because you didn't find time to communicate with it first. See? Got to get in the dimensional line screen and high calculation line interference. You pick up a crystal communication line centers without identifying yourself. You're going to see so many dimensional line screen, double line positional operation, several gates sitting because you didn't find time to communicate with this crystal. So don't pick things up until you scan them. Okay? So I'm just showing you exactly what you guys are coming into now. Okay? And you have to be aware of everything that you see, everything you do, everything you touch, everything you taste, because it's more open through setting. It's in its highlight. It's in your universal line of recharge now. In that track line connection setting, everything is an activation to its system of space. That's why you really have to get activated, because everything you touch affects everything because you're not communicating with it, sets them to its location of its setting. Connected with my digital pad, right? So you always have to identify yourself. Now, in set location line position locations, somebody picks up your digital pad, it will protect its own system. So we'll keep you at the frequency. See, you guys don't know these things, right? So if you hand somebody your digital pad, okay, it's different. So you have to understand how to connect the line connection to each other through DNA location of communication, telepathy, and telekinesis. So line connection, line interference. Now, this is just a pad, right? It's a location, just a blue pad, but it's part of the location digital pad position location. They communicate with each other. That's positional complete system of yin and yang. It's just a pad, but it's communication, but it's also intelligence. What is its purpose? To put this and this. You see how simple that is? You understand what this is now? How you have, what is the purpose to have this? Is to put the digital pad in this. Okay? Hua. So once you understand that, then you understand that everything has its process of its own operation, of its own system, of its own information. That's what you got to get balanced with. Okay? Because everything, even through headphones. So try to understand when you're picking these things up in any way and form, anything through object, everything through its intelligence is trying to understand you through the sim. So it's earbuds. What are they used for inside a location line system? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. So you have to understand what energy is. It's given you through schematics. So as soon as you touch it, you're tethered to it on both sides, through Earth and through space. Earth and space, right and left. So it's connected to Earth and it's connected to space. You put it in, you're connected on both sides, which is your universe. But you didn't know that, did you? So you put this in at the same time, you are connected to your universe. That's it, design. Through earbuds, right? So you hear it on the left line, set position on all of the right line, left line. Doesn't matter. Because space modulation travels so fast, the calculation of galaxy lines sets lines of communication. Left is right is left. But a position of process is you to understand you. Why you have earphones is so you can listen to your phone through music. That's its purpose of its existence. But to understand this is to understand this has its own data operation. If it didn't have its own data operation, you would not be able to use these. I'm trying to get everybody to understand this. So when you pick these things up, it's in its data. It downloads it because you're touching it right now. When you get in a car, you don't know how to drive a car. That car is showing you through data. It has its own schematics. Without that, you would not be able to drive that car because it's a different model. And if it's a different model, it's a different frequency, different universe, different space, different intelligence, different operation. But what is the balanced communications of? Travel recognition. That's applications. That's the equation, is getting you to travel, right? To understand that you can travel through this, to know that you can travel through this, or travel through your phone. Okay? That's the balance that you guys have to get with that through its intelligence, because it's awake now completely, fully and completely through modulations of the same. Okay? All right, so that's it. We're done. Hopefully, you guys will get a better understanding now how real it is and how you approach things and how you look at things and how you start appreciating things. Because you're going to find they're going to appreciate you more once you understand them through their data, giving it to you through its operation of its existence. Okay? All right. See you in 5.